afternoon, YouTube's man on the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I have a special guest because my partner in crime, the hand of the Emperor, he is unable to come join me today because he's under the weather. So let's wish Jared, Jen, feel much better, brother. Waiting for you. So we're like I said, and we'll have something to talk about for next week. Okay. So anyway, I have a special guest. And usually you don't see you see either the Joker or you see my new moniker, the Lord of the Wall, Jon Snow. But for this guy, I want to do a face to face with him. We're about to bring him in a minute. You've seen him; he's been on my channel before. He has been a guest. I've been on his live stream. Now he's being a guest on mine, and we're introduced to the man himself, the myth, the legend. Just this guy. We got here KLA, Dogo Gets Nature, KLA, the Wanderer coming through. So we got him here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey,
what's up? I'm seeing your face to face. We actually really talking face to face. What's going on, man?
Hey, brother, what's going on to you? Yo. How's well up there in New York?
There's New York.
Yeah. I tell like this. I remember growing up. You said, "Go to New York. Don't look people in the eye. Just walk and keep going by your business."
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy out here, but it's okay.
So anyway, this is MuscleTalk number 118, and the subject we're talking about is the why there's no female bodybuilding shows. Now, first, before we start on this, I saw this on the Female Bodybuilding channel just about a few days ago. AJ reached out to me and he gave me some suggestions to do for my channel, and and I would appreciate that. AJ's a great guy. Him and JB been representing female bodybuilders the last 10 years or so, and I respect their because they gave me a shout out like a little bit around last year supporting my channel, and I respect their opinion because these guys have been in the game. They talk to some of the top people in the sport. So anyway, they just announced that one lady just decided to switch over from physique to women's bodybuilding. She made it official, and that is the lovely Miss Dasanka Dawson. If I got her name wrong, Dasanka Dawson.
Okay.
And Miss Dawson has been competing for a long time. She, as you know, she started out originally in, I believe, figure bikini, one of those two.
Oh, I seen her. Seen her.
Yeah, and she
looked nice.
Yeah, and she decided to switch over from physique to women's open. Now, one thing also about her, she competed at the 2020 Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. This is a video from that, and that was the last year they had women's physique, and she took 4th place at that show. And this was her performance back in 2020. Beautiful lady, great, and that was the last year. That was the year of the pandemic, and that was the last year they had women's physique. And and we all know Arnold walked quietly behind the division, stabbing in the heart. And I know you don't like it, but I love my quotes.
I got something for you, but I'm gonna wait till you finish.
You can say you want, but I was watching with some people who saw the announcement. Chelsea Dion says she has that Margie V. Martin kind of vibe to her, and and I could see that. Maybe one thing is I think Margie has huge quads,
right?
And I think she has good sized quads, and I think she has that more taper look compared to Margie. Margie, I think, was a little more bigger upper body, but she says she's already gained up about 190 pounds since the offseason. She had competed since the Texas show. That was a Texas Pro, and she has, I think, like I said, she's very attractive lady.
How was she? How was she in the physique when she was doing physique, like the last competition? Like,
I try to remember. I think she placed in the top 5.
Okay.
This is the Texas Pro. I think she might have placed in the top 5. I'm not certain. Like I said, I need to try to follow a lot of this. Even the shows don't have women's bodybuilding, I should follow them because physique. I see the same way. It's pretty much women's bodybuilding, but just a different region. I mostly focus more on the shows where they have women's bodybuilding because that's about my content. But I've been really expanding my content, and just really pay attention. But I think she might do good. I mean, she might do pretty well. She has a great look to her, great muscle, if she can bring on the size and get the right show,
Mm.
might possibly maybe give Andrea a run. It's all depending.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a great look to her. Very. She has those very good feminine qualities, but she has to have those good muscle development, especially those how they often say those muscle bellies, meaning you have to be a little bit more larger. But she has great look, but she has to work on certain things. I say most definitely, size is an important thing.
Yeah.
But if she can get the size, and in this picture I like here, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she can get, like I said, I think that's all it is. With women's bodybuilding, size is important. Condition is good, but size is utmost important. Representing women's
Mm.
bodybuilding. Yeah, you push back your eye a little bit, brother. Because
Yeah.
you talk last week.
I'm
Yeah,
just looking because.
yeah, you looking a little too hard, man. You're looking hard. You look like you just got out of prison. You haven't seen a woman in 20 years. Yeah, you really like yeah. Nah, yeah, look, you want
Nah,
too
I'm looking.
hard.
I'm just looking because it's like I don't know how they do it. Like like they judge these women on like the quads, like how big the quads are and how big this is, and like they
Well,
gotta work on that. It's like
it's so many things. But one thing is like I learned like to say one thing: the back can make and break
right.
how you place. Because I remember when Shauna competed at Chicago about 2 years ago, a little bit
Yeah.
almost 3 years ago, when she was up against Teresa Ivasic. I remember we did an interview. So she said that it was she told me how it was her back that because with Shauna she has that she's a she's a sister. She's gonna be a little thick,
Yeah. Yeah.
and her back sometimes is the thing that could be the issue. And the thing with the back, sometimes you can't see it when you're training. You have to
Right.
really look at it real good. And with Teresa's a good back, but the thing about Teresa, she has no real legs. She's kind of small on the quads. And that's why Teresa went over to physique for a minute, but she didn't do too well. She took 7 at Chicago back in 2021. She could have stayed a little bit, but she has to really, really bring down because Teresa has big shoulders, big back, big body. But she has small legs. She like if you look at somebody like Ivy Rain, Ivy has big shoulders, big back, but she has very small legs. I think she's kind of like if she can have more size to her legs, she'll do okay with women's bodybuilding because she has a good back, good shoulders, huge traps. But because her legs are very undersized, that's why she's in physique.
Right.
We got a man here, Lawrence Perkins. He's saying, "Good afternoon, brothers. Good afternoon, brother Lawrence. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate your support. As you know, subject's gonna be about. As you know, they already put out the list. This is like maybe about, I think a little bit after the Olympia, a little bit before the Olympia for the 2021 season.
Okay.
And I'm like, I looked at the list, and it's very, very, I think very, very slack, especially for women's bodybuilding. You
Okay.
know, and I feel like one problem is just what while back I did a little we did a little commentary at the Olympia. It was part 2 because it was so long. Me and my partner Jen decided to do a part 2.
Okay.
So we brought in a guy named Sean who I interviewed. Sean is a men's physique competitor in amateur.
Yeah, I didn't see all of it. I had to do something, but I remember that. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that interview. Yeah.
And was it last year? Sean, along with Jada Beverly's company, they put up some money to have women's physique at the Indie Pro. Now, if you follow me on I posted on my old channel on IG,
Yeah.
and also I posted on my Facebook channel and also on my YouTube channel that Dave Brower, who ran the show, discontinued the show. He retired the show because it costs money. You need promoters. I think for this year he had enough promoters. But what Jada told me, what she did and her company did, they put up like about $7,000 to have women's bodybuilding. That was cost for first, second, third place. So that's the prize money. Now, I've noticed also some other shows. Just as you know, I saw this about just around a little bit around summer that the Omaha Pro dropped women's bodybuilding also. Now it's just physique. And then there was a show in Brazil that just started last year. They had women's bodybuilding because they only had 2. At one point, they only had 1 competitor at one point.
Right.
But then one lady, Arsenio Barreto, she jumped on. It was two. It was her and Lavinia Barros, and they started to cut women's bodybuilding from that show. And I wasn't sure about this other show, which was, if I'm going to show you, was the Vancouver Pro. Till one of the lady who I'm confounded with, she said out to me and said like, "Oh, well, they're going to have the Vancouver Pro." I said, "Well, they need to go ahead and get in contact with NPC IVB and let them know because they can put it on the list." And shout out this show, shout outs to them, and I'm going to show you where and
Okay.
what they're doing. Shout out to them for giving a platform for women's bodybuilding, and that is the Vancouver Pro Showdown, Island Showdown, and that's the list. And that's it's going to be in April the 23rd,
Mm.
and that's going to be the first bodybuilding show for the season. Now, one problem was with that show, it was because a lot of the competitors couldn't compete because of the virus restrictions. You can't get
Yeah.
in Canada unless you are vaccinated and tested.
So
And
this gonna be on Orlando, right?
no, this show is Vancouver,
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
British Columbia.
My
This
bad.
is in another country.
My
This
bad.
is
My bad.
yeah,
My
that's
bad.
all right. That's right. You little you get it. You better you catch on. And with this show, this is gonna be the first show. I just heard somebody told me Sherry Priami might be doing this show. I believe also Eva Montgomery, who won it last year, might do this show because Eva lives in Washington State. She lives in Washington State,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah. I
Eva.
remember she said that she took the ferry from Washington. I think it was either from Portland or Seattle, and went into Vancouver. So that means she was vaccinated. She had
Okay.
both her and Layla, her friend Layla, both competed. Layla competed in women's physique, and Layla switched over to figure now. And then the next show after that is this close to you, brother. You should check it out. And that is the New York Pro. As you
Okay.
know, it was like about almost 10, 15 years ago, let's say about 10 years ago,
Right.
when this show that's promoted by Bev Francis and her husband, Steve Weinberger. And you know, Bev Francis is the one that changed bodybuilding. And
Right.
when I heard it that she dropped women's bodybuilding, she's another person that walked behind the division and stabbed in the heart. Now, it's promoted by her husband, Steve, who's a judge, but we all know it's truly him and her show together. And it's in Teaneck, New Jersey. Now, it's called the New York Pro, but it's in Teaneck, New Jersey. It's like,
Okay.
it's like the Giants. Don't they play in New Jersey?
Right now, I'm not. I don't even follow football right now, but they supposed to.
Yeah,
But like back in the past, they, from what I knew, the Giants, yeah, they was in New Jersey.
yeah. And you call themselves New York Giants, but you play in New Jersey.
Yeah. Right.
Y'all got two football teams. Y'all got more football teams, more football teams, basketball teams than anybody in New York. Y'all let somebody have a football team. Let somebody have a basketball team.
What
Let
about
somebody have
North
a baseball
Carolina?
team.
Y'all got a team, right?
Yeah, we got a team. My brother, I'm not much for a Carolina fan. Yeah, my brother loves them. But that's in Teaneck, New Jersey. And they had that, that show. And also they cut out Wins Physique one time and they brought it back. And they brought
Okay.
it back in 2020. So it's going to be the third year with the return of Wins Bodybuilding in Teaneck, Jersey. Now, next up is the Toronto Pro. Now, they didn't have it one year because of in 2020 because everything with the virus. And it was hard to get for competitors to get in Toronto. Here's somebody told me that they didn't want to take the vaccination, but I'm like this: you're taking gear, you're shooting gear, but you don't want to take a vaccination at a booster shot. I mean, and don't be telling people say, "I heard people died with the vaccination." No, that's not true. That's rumors and hearsay. Some people might get sick. Like when I got my first shot, I got a little sick. I wasn't too sick. I got a little fever, and
First, look,
then
George, I'm not gonna lie,
what?
but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like I was watching this thing like in China, like the people, a lot of people they take the vaccine because it's free, and they be dying. A lot of them they either sick, a lot of them like in the bed, in the hospital bed, or they just dead.
Well, his thing is that's hearsay because conjecture. That's not true. What that is most of the time is somebody is telling a story. Fact is, unless you already had the virus, or you have a very weak immune system, that virus that vaccine does not kill you. And sometimes if it happens because it's somebody with a very weak immune system that it is because your antibody is going to fight against it. It just that's just people just talking about that, and I know you that's what you believe, but I believe in science. And sometimes if that happens, it does happen. It's very rare, very rare. If somebody died, it's because of the vaccine. If they got it too late, because you said if you already have the disease and you get the vaccination's not going to help you. What all it does is it doesn't stop the virus. It
Yeah,
just takes the
that could be true. I mean, it
yeah.
might not be effective as they saying,
Yeah.
but a lot of people they dying and stuff, and
Well,
it.
they're dying from the virus, not per se from the vaccination.
Mm.
Yeah, because vaccine people will be doing vaccines since smallpox,
You know,
polio, a lot of stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna share a little one thing. I took the vaccine because of this job I had last year, and yo, I didn't. I took the what's the name of this shit? I took it, yo, and I could not get up. I'm telling you, man, I could not get up. I'm like, I took it twice, and
What? Mhm.
I forgot the name of that. I forgot the name. I gotta
Is
look
it
for that.
was it Pfizer?
Nah, not Pfizer. It stems with an M.
I forgot what's that other one. I took the Pfizer. I forgot the other one.
Hold on for a second. All right, I'm gonna look for it right now. 'Cause it's like,
Okay, yeah. Well, while he's looking up, I will keep talking with y'all. But with this thing with Toronto, now that they drop restrictions for you to see, you can go into Canada. You don't have to take a vaccination. You don't have to take
yeah,
anything else. They drop
found it. It's
restrictions.
Moderna.
Moderna, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
but it's all dependent. Sometimes that first shot, you're gonna get a little sick. You're gonna be under the weather because actually it's your body. Your body's gonna fight that new some kind of anything that comes to your body that's strange to it.
mm,
Your antibodies are gonna fight it. But once, like I said, it didn't take no more than maybe I took some sleep. I drank a little some juice, and then I went to sleep. I woke up. I was fine. When I took my second shot, it was nothing. Plus, I took the pneumonia shot because you still got to worry about pneumonia. I don't take
yeah.
the flu shot. No point in fighting the flu. But pneumonia, I had it before. I had walking pneumonia. I had it in my left lung. So I take my pneumonia shot. I'm not worried about the flu, but I try to keep my distance. And I try to wear a mask. I was okay. Now with that, with now that people can go in Toronto, these ladies don't have to take the shot or get tested. You can see a lot of bodies because that show is in June. Because the show in New York, that's in actually two New Jersey, that's in May. Then this show is in June. Now next up is the Puerto Rico Pro, and that's also in June. That's about towards the end of June. And I remember last year we had three competitors, and that was Rashana Boswell, Julia Furry, and Erika Danikova. And that's the show that Rashana gained her third Olympic qualification. I got to meet Rashana more than a couple of weeks after that show. And she came down here in North Carolina. She was at Fayetteville. She was doing a seminar, and I got to meet her. I did a little interview with her. It was a great lady, amazing
Yeah, I
body.
seen that one. I seen that one.
Yeah, she has an amazing body. I brought her a little care package. She took all of it. She did as much as she could because she was flying here. And my man Glenn, he sent the rest to her. She told me her son loves a toothbrush I sent him, and her wife told me to still use some of that stuff. And that stuff I like to do for some of these ladies because the fact is that helps them save a little money in their pocket.
That's
So
good.
yeah, that's the Puerto Rican Pro. Good show. I mean, we might get some more competitors for this show because even though Puerto Rico is people keep forgetting Puerto Rico is U.S. territories. Maybe
Yeah,
someday become a state. Now, next up we have the Portugal Pro, and that's in Portugal. It's the Big Man Evolution, Mr. Big Man Evolution, and that's in February. I mean July. Sorry, July. And this is a show with Branka Najugovic won a qualification. Now, if I was an American competitor and you feel like you might have a chance, I would do this show.
mm,
And there's quite a few bodybuilders that live in Europe. I would say, since it's in like no more that early week of July, stack the chips, and I would say try to do the show, maybe get your qualification. Next up is one of the biggest shows is Chicago, and Chicago is in the middle of July. Popular show, Chelsea D. No, actually, Angela Yao got her qualification show. Chelsea took second in that show last year, and also Rashana Boswell took fourth. I feel bad for Rashana. I'm a big fan of Rashana. I got to meet her at Savannah. I did an interview with her. I mean, beautiful woman. I mean, she's beautiful. I mean,
Who's
wow,
Sheena?
man.
What's her name? Sheena Oleg.
Yeah, Sheena Oleg. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, the one with the frizzy hair and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, she is. Wow, you get to meet
yeah,
her in
she's
person.
fine. I'm not gonna lie, she's fine.
She's
She's fine.
fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's from Jersey.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
She's from Jersey. I mean, she didn't do too well as Savannah, when she said that we were talking, she said like she wasn't, as well. She might have picked up something. I don't know. She really missed the mark on that. She took forfeit that show, and
Okay.
and if she could have got into top, second or third, or even won it, she could have been Olympia again. But she missed it this year. Next up, we have Tampa Bay. That's in the first of about March. And this is a show where Chelsea Dion got her qualification. That's where Sheena took second at the show.
Mhm.
Chelsea has said that she's not competing this year. She took some time off. I think she did pretty good for her first year.
Yeah.
She, got to win her first Olympic qualification. Took second at Chicago. Then she did. Well, I think she was in the top 10 at both the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia. So that's pretty good on because she's been competing for a long time, and she turned pro almost a little over just almost 2 years ago, because it'll be 2 years in December when she won at the 2021 Nationals. Now here we have the Europa show in Spain, and that's a show where Arsenio Barreto won her qualification,
That's
and
that she retired or something like that.
no, who?
Which one you was talking about? It's a similar name that she retired because I think she had like an injury or something like that.
No one no else that retired. Only person that said they retired was Margie Martin. She said retired. I heard with Hella had an injury earlier last
No,
year.
not Hella. It was somebody you was referring to. But go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, okay, okay. Now this show where Barreto got her qualification. She's from Spain. I would also suggest to any American competitor, if you want to get your qualification and you feel like it's easier to maybe go out of the country, you should do it. One person whose name I do not speak, she competed at the show last year, and also I heard that she's not competing this year because but she shouldn't compete at all. She don't deserve anything. Yes, I don't speak her name on my channel. Now they pushed up the Olympia to November, the first week of November. I
Mm.
said, what? And even though it says here on the list, it says Las Vegas, Nevada, the
Right.
fact is they moved to Orlando. And what I heard from quite a few people, a lot of people got sick. A lot of people got sick.
Okay.
I know with Shauna and her kids and her wife got sick. I did an interview with Danielle Willis about a couple of weeks ago. She said, I told her she wasn't feeling well. She can probably take we can do another day. She's a trooper, beautiful woman, great trooper. She came in, she wanted to do an interview. I talked to Lotta earlier last Monday. She said she was sick because she lives in Nevada. I
Mm.
was talking to one lady on IG. She said she was there. She took a shower. The water was awful. She got ashy. I picked on the call and said, you were like Ashy Larry. Remember Ashy Larry from the Chappelle
Yeah,
show?
yeah, I remember Ashley Larry. I'm rich, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Danielle Rollins, great comedian. Remember the episode where Wayne Brady and Ray Brady shot him?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. But the Olympia is going to move to back to Orlando. I think somebody told me that they liked it in Orlando. I did an interview with my interview with Mariana. You remember Maria
Mariana.
Getty? She told me she loved because she competed the last couple of times at the Olympia Amateurs, and she loved it. Her and her kids went to Disney World, and enjoyed it. Her and her family. So maybe that's a good move because I think with Orlando, as even this time of year, I live in North Carolina.
Right,
It's probably like about in the early 60s. It's 60 degrees outside now. You
right.
know, now you got to think about it. You go down to Florida, where you're down to the close to the ocean. It's got to be close to 80, if not in mid 70s right now. This time of year, and you got to think about it. This is they'll be going in November,
Right.
meaning it's going to be decent. I mean, I remember some ladies told me they even loved it in Orlando because Orlando's a little more bigger, a little more open. Even though Vegas is still a small kind of, it's considered one of the biggest little towns in Nevada. It's still kind of small. And then also, I know with Shauna, her and her kids and her wife, they went to Disney World. There's something you can do, especially if you have a family.
Right.
It's a great place for family. Vegas is not for if you have kids. It's not a place for have kids. So, and after that, we have here the Romanian Muscle Fest. That's a show that's promoted by Alina Popa and also Lena and Tim Gardner. That's another show that Barreto also won qualification. So she knocked out another competitor.
Right.
But that show is going to be in the no more maybe the week after the Olympia. So that and some people going to probably knowing this that week of the Olympia, that's qualification for this year's Olympia. For the Romanians, qualification for next year Olympia. So the good chance you're going to have a lot of competitors try to jump on that show so you can get qualification for next year. And especially if they just did Olympia, some who didn't qualify for the Olympia, who hadn't been in the top three, like Andrea, Angela, and Hella are the top three. To
Yeah.
me, I we were talking with some people. I felt Hella was gifted that top spot. It was a gift to her. No
Right.
offense, I'm a big fan of her, Tarina. I think she's an amazing woman. I've talked to her before on social media. I've done videos about her, and I'm a big fan of hers. But I think she was gifted
Right.
third place.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
my
heard you saying that she didn't really her stuff was so in the
yeah.
competition.
I think the weird person who should have got first place was Bronca Najokovic. Bronca looked
Yeah.
great.
Djokovic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she went.
you be knowing these women like knowing the NBA play.
Well, that's my job, man. That's my job, brother. I gotta keep up with this.
Yo, that
I
a
don't. I
lot.
don't.
Like it's like freaking like I don't even know how to call it, man. Like it reminds me of like the GI Joe man. Like they like collecting GI Joes when you were a kid or something like that, but only with women. That's
Yeah.
how I could compare it. Yeah.
See, that's my job to keep up with that.
No,
And
I understand, but it'd be a lot. Like some names, I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, and then I have to look. Yeah, but some of it I understand, man. I
yeah,
understand.
I was talking with Bronca IG, and she also was sick. She just recovered from a nasty ear infection. A lot of people got sick.
Mm,
And she telling me how backstage you'd be laying on the cold floor because you get that spray tan. You can't
right.
you can't sit in too many chairs like that. And also, when people don't know that, I mean, when somebody tell me that you're gonna be a little funky because one thing you can't use deodorant or sprays anything like that
Yeah,
because that spray tan can really especially under the hot lights and you're
yeah,
sweating
yeah.
that owner joint would start caking up or start spreading, and it's just gonna make a mess out of your tan. So that's
Mm,
why I remember Tisha when she did a show. I think it was either Norfolk, and how if you watch every people watch my dear friend Tisha Thomas documentary I Am Tigress. There's a part where she
okay.
complains about how they did a bad thing with her tanning, and it was a mess.
It's on
But
YouTube. Is it?
no, well, you can go to her IG,
Mm,
the Tigress. She might have some clips, but you actually have to buy the copy. I mean, one time she sent me a
uh,
thing, a link, so I can see it for free. But if all you gotta do is says "I'm the Tigress," put in a search. There might be some clips here and there,
right.
but the full movie you probably have to go to her IG, and it probably you can find it. Now I'm gonna show you a picture of Bronca from her the show, and I tell you, Bronca, honestly, this is why I said she should have won. She not
Oh,
won. She should have.
yeah, I
She
know.
should. Yeah, she
Yeah,
should have got
yeah,
third.
yeah.
Because they
Okay, I
gifted
got you.
third to this little clip she took, and she has an amazing physique.
Yeah,
You know.
I remember I did like a video slides on one of my on the I did a video slide on her on way back. I remember her. I just
Mhm.
forgot the name when you were saying it. I'm like the name.
Yeah, and can you believe this woman is 50?
Yeah,
She's 50.
I mean she's not really that far from us. Like
No, she's not. I would have thought she was maybe mid 40s, but she's
okay,
yeah. This is some video from her at Las Vegas.
all
You
right,
know, she's from Croatia. She's competing since she actually earned her pro card at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic in the amateurs. That's
yeah,
when he still had women's bodybuilding back then. And that was back 2011. And she competed body for a good bit, then switched over to physique. And then in 2021, she made a jump back to bodybuilding. She did pretty good. I think she competed at the Romanian Muscle Fest, got second to Nadia Capasotto,
okay.
and then I think that was it. She didn't do any more shows after that. I
Yeah,
think,
I think that's the name you was talking about.
yeah.
Something happened to her or she had an injury or something like that. Nadia.
No, she had an injury. She no injury, no injury. I mentioned her about no injury. She never had no injury. She just, like I said, she got sick like a lot of the people after Olympia, but no injury.
But she couldn't go to the Olympia. You were saying?
No, 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 no. The chick I'm talking about is her name is Anastasia Levinova. She had no
Oh,
injury.
yeah, 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 yeah.
She just can't come to America because she lives in Russia.
Oh, I got you.
She earned a qualification at the Portugal also.
Okay.
But because some reason, that was before the whole mess with Putin and the shit he was doing with
Right.
Ukraine.
Right.
For some reason, she can't get her passport or a visa. She can't get a visa to come to America. She missed her qualification for Olympia last year. It
Oh,
wasn't an injury. It's just that she just couldn't get out of the country.
I got you.
That was before the mess with Putin in the
Right.
Ukraine.
Right.
And one thing is couldn't even compete. And his thing about this chick, she's a Wing ambassador. Now, you're an ambassador. A lot of these ambassadors, they do, the girls who may not even compete, who are ambassadors, will work booths and stuff. They get paid to do that. She didn't do that this year either, because she's stuck in Russia. She can't even get out of Russia. Now, there's another Russian, that's Anastasia Kobalova. She's the really big one
Yeah.
that competed at the Romanian.
Okay.
She lives in Romania. And that's a smart thing to do. There's another Russian that competed at that show also. She lives in around the Middle East. She lives like around Dubai or I believe Abu Dhabi, something like that. So and I think there was another Russian. She was a physique competitor, and I believe she lives somewhere also in Europe. And she competed in physique, and she competed at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic in the UK. But with her husband talking junk, talking about his wife is going to beat Andrea Shaw. No, your wife I would say your wife has a good physique, but she's not going to be Andrea Shaw. She's short. Andrea has that. Andrea is not too short, but not too tall.
Right.
Also, Andrea has good, those good muscle development, those good muscle bellies, and plus she has a very great look about her.
Right.
No one's going to be Andrea right now. I don't think anybody's going to be, Angela Yao, whatever. She came close. But the fact is, with Angela is a little shorter. Plus, she doesn't have enough size. She has to bring in a little more size. She has a great physique. I'm going to see. Angela.
Go ahead. I had a question for you. Like,
go ahead, ask it.
What's your prediction in 2023 with these women? Like, who you think that's gonna win it? Like,
why did I think younger though? It's Andrea. No, I mean Andrea's gonna be, like I said, one thing. Andrea's gonna win. There's no prediction. There's no point in prediction. Andrea's gonna win that. Now, one division I'm gonna say is kind of like up in the air. To me, honestly, is women's physique. Nadia did pretty good. Nadia put on a little more size, because I got a lady who I've become friendly with. Her name's Alicia Flario. She used to compete in bodybuilding. Now she's a judge, NBC judge, and she saw Nadia, maybe a few weeks before her last show, and she said Nadia got big. She got bigger, and like I said, and with Sarah's been busy doing a lot of she's been promoting. She's been like sponsoring some women's shows. Like she sponsored a show that Nadia won. That was the 2022 Pittsburgh Pro. She put up $20,000 for prize money. Then she sponsored a show in Texas, the Texas Pro, and she put up $15,000 for Mr. Tyke, who won that show. Now, and the thing was, somebody was telling her to come in a little softer. They told Sarah to pull back a little bit. That's the mistake she made. Sarah's conditioning has always won her the last two Miss Olympias. She beat Shanique Wrestling conditioning, and she retained her title in 2021. What she did was this happened to Iris Kyle in 2005.
Right.
When Iris Kyle beat Linda Murray for the title in 2004, Iris went against Yaxenia King, and that was the year where they dropped weight classes. They had no weight, because from 2020, actually from 2000 to 2003, they had weight classes. You had lightweight women's bodybuilding, you had heavyweight women's bodybuilding. So they dropped the weight class in 2005. So Iris went against Yaxenia King. Iris came in just a little bit softer, because somebody told her, "Hey, come in a little bit softer." Yaxenia came in more conditioned and shredded.
Yeah.
And she won that show in 2005.
Yeah.
But then Irish had to come back, make adjustments, and she beat Yaxini in 2006, and then Halo title after that. This is what happened. What Sarah did. She decided to come in a little softer, and she said that somebody telling her people at Cat told come in a little softer. That's the mistake she made. Natalia came in a little bigger and just a little bit better condition, and that's how come she won. Now, if Sarah was in the condition she was for the last 2 years, she would have beat Natalia. Natalia just had size. Sarah had conditioning. One person I was rooting for is Brooke Walker. I think if Brooke came in just maybe, yeah, yeah. If Brooke came in just a little bit better condition than both Sarah and Natalia, I think Brooke could have won.
Okay.
And I think Brooke is the type of person like let me see. Let me pull up Brooke. If you don't know who she is, let me second. I think Brooke could have been Miss Olympia because she has that look. She's from Arkansas originally.
Yeah, I gotta watch like some old DVDs. Like, was I looking at 2005 Olympia? I don't think so. I probably had like magazines or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, you don't have to. You can just go on the internet.
yeah.
Yeah, you can just pull up the internet and you can find that stuff. You don't need to pull up DVDs anymore. Who got DVDs
No, I'm
anymore?
just saying. My mind ain't.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, you get a catch. Now, I'll pull up pictures of Brooke. And Brooke, with her, she has great look to her. She's very, I would say, highly attractive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see her. I seen her before.
Her conditioning just was, if her condition just came in just a little tighter, she has a good amount of size.
You're right.
And if she can broaden her conditioning just a little more tighter, if she had a conditioning like Sarah's conditioning for the
Right.
last 2 years, and plus
She's
with
in
her,
physique right now, right?
she's physique.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
this is physique. If Brooke had like right here, you look around the midsection,
Yeah.
she wasn't as tight. Quads were all right, but she came in just a little tighter. And plus, like I said, she has good size.
Mm.
She might be just a little bigger than Natalia, but if she came in just a little tighter around about the quads, also about more striations in the glutes, and come in with more, a little bit more tighter in around the midsection,
Right.
and maybe just a little bit more to condition, just a little bit more. This is the second time she took third. She took third back in 2021. I believe Brooke could have won this show.
Mm.
I was rooting for Brooke because, like I said, Natalia, yeah, I'm not big, Sarah, Sarah, but Brooke, she has great look about her.
Yeah, she do.
Very, yeah, very feminine looking. Very, she's a Southern girl. Girl next door looks about her. She would be she's kind of like Julia McCarr, who won who had the title for 4 years, but Julia McCarr beat Dana Lynn Bailey for the title back in I believe 2013,
Mm.
and she was Miss Physique for 4 years from 2013, 2014, 15, and 16. No, actually, I think she beat. I think she beat. No, she beat Dana Lynn in 2014.
Yeah.
So she was champion for 4 years from 2014, 15, 16, 17. Wait a minute. I can't remember. So she retired in 2019, I believe. And
Mm.
that was the year Shanique Grant became champion for 2 years, from 2019 to 2020. And Shanique, if you follow her, Shanique, she decided after that, she lost to Sarah, Shanique decided to, go over to she started to retire because she used the excuse saying, I want to have kids, I want to have babies, yada 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 yada. But from what I heard, she she now this is a no, this is another Shanique. I'm sorry, this is a different
But
Shanique.
look fine, all right.
Yeah, I forgot was Shanique's what's her. Let me see. I think let me put Grant and see. I mean, see Grant. Yeah, I think it's somewhere here. I forgot it. Whatever. I remember it later or something like that. But Shanique, what pictures I've seen her lately, Shanique looks like she might jump over to wellness. I saw a picture, somebody posted it, and I took it. I sent it to some people that I follow and said, "Hey, I think Shanique might do wellness." You know, Let me see. I think I got it somewhere. Let me see. I know I sent it to one of my buddies.
Right.
And but like I said, we'll get back to the subject of here's with the loss of with so few women's physique shows, women's bodybuilding shows, you're gonna have possibly, if I said again, the show in Omaha dropped women's physique,
Okay.
women's bodybuilding. I mean women's bodybuilding, and then one in Brazil dropped women's bodybuilding. And then you have Linda Murray. Linda Murray has supposed to have two shows. The first one is Atlanta was first last year. That's her show, Atlanta, and then she did Savannah, where I went this September. Now, then also I don't see the Rising Phoenix yet, and that is the Women's Bodybuilding World Championship
for 2023.
Yes, they hadn't posted for the. So where's the Rising Phoenix? And here's the thing about the Rising Phoenix: most of the competitors at that show, most of them, except for people like Tina Williams, a couple other ladies who didn't either have points, or like Sheena, she had points, but she didn't. I think she was in third call outs, so she can get it. You got to get points. Top 5 gets points,
right.
And the only person that was in the top 5 who got points were, Leah Denny and Mona Persley. And Mona took 5th at that show. And I said, dang, I mean, Mona, I can't believe she took 5th. I mean, it's one thing, because
I remember you was talking about that. You liked her better than Dania Leah.
Yeah, I like Leah Denny. We should talk a bit on my old IG account.
But Mona had a more better physique than she did.
Like, she put on some size compared to last year. She took 3rd. Yeah. That was the year you had Andrea and you had Hella.
Yeah.
And then Hella was out this year, and then Mila took 2nd, and then Mila, she came up short, and I'm just like, what's going on with Mila? She didn't do too good at Olympic. This is the because back in 2020 when she switched from physique to bodybuilding, she did New York Pro, qualified for the Olympia because she'd done the Olympia before as a physique competitor, but this was her first time qualified as a bodybuilder. She has done the Olympia at least 4 times. 2 of them is physique, and the last 2 times is bodybuilding. Last 3 times is bodybuilding. So she does 5 Olympias, and the last 3 times is bodybuilding. As in 2020, 2021, 2022. 2020 was the best because she took 4th of that show, which qualified her for the next year's. That's when you could still, top 5 competitors to compete. But then now, this year, they announced last year that it's no longer point systems, meaning that if you take 2nd of the show or 3rd of the show, you're not getting no points, which gets you, because what it was where they let the top 3 who got points qualified. Now, last year it was Mona Persley, because Mona, she took 4th at last year's Olympia, 2021 Olympia, but she had to need more points to qualify or even win a show. Now I saw Mona at Savannah, and my thing is she should have done this. She should have, even though that was Asher Hadley's show, she should have done that show in Nevada because she did guest posing, her and Andrea. And I think if she done Savannah, she could have qualified for the Olympia. She wouldn't need any more points for that. But what she did was, even she had 12 points already in from taking 4th at the Olympia. And she's needed enough so she can get into the Olympia for 2022.
Right.
Now she got taken 5th at the Rising. That gave her 7 points, which gave her 19. Now you have people like Sherry Priyami. She had 17 points already because Sherry only did 2 shows. She took 2nd. No, she did 3 shows. Sherry took 2nd at Atlanta. second at Chicago, and then she took third at Tampa. All Sherry needed to do was one show, maybe two shows, or just one show. It would give her points to go into the Olympia. But what somebody told me that one of her children was sick. Sherry's a mother of three kids. She has two sons and a daughter, and I think her daughter was sick, and she was more concerned about her daughter than competing. If
Mm.
she had, as you know, that about that same week, there's a show in Europe, that show in Spain.
Okay.
That show in Spain was a show in which Barrito won, and also the person I mean who I speak competed that show because she had
Yeah.
competed since New York,
Right.
and Barrito, she won that show. Now, if Sherry did that show, and because that show was on the same weekend as the Romanian, as, not as the Rising Phoenix Arizona Pro, because Arizona Pro was on Saturday, the show in Spain was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, Efren Peters, if he's got the right name right, he says afternoon all. Yeah, afternoon to
All right. What's up, Matt?
yeah, afternoon to you, man. Now, if sorry, excuse me, if Sherry had done the show either in Romania or in Spain, she had 17 points. All she had to do is top in the top three, just to get enough points that she would have got in by point system. But because she didn't do any shows, that's there's a certain person whose name I do not speak who
Right.
already had 20 some points because she had 12. So she got 17 points, I think, from the show in Europe, in Spain, and then got another points. We gave her 23 points at Romania. He also is saying, he said like this: we need more bodybuilders in general. It should be the standard. Well, I know I'll say, brother, what you're talking about, but the problem is that they say that women's bodybuilding now is profitable.
Yeah.
That's why you see some shows will have no women's bodybuilding. Sometimes even not even physique. I've seen shows where they just have maybe one division. You have shows that just have bikini. You have shows that just have men's open. You have shows that just have men's classic physique. You have shows that have only three divisions.
Right.
And none of them women's bodybuilding or even not even physique.
I'm
They
gonna
will,
ask I'm a silly question.
not silly.
Like
It's
let's
just
say let's say somebody wins something, like somebody like Andrea Shaw, she wins, some money. Do the other competitors win like some money at
yes, it
least?
is. Only really for the Olympia, it's only the top five that wins any money.
Oh,
All right, it goes. Top five wins money, but other shows, sometimes it's top three.
okay.
Not a stupid question. That's just a question. I remember she says there's no such thing as stupid questions. There's just sometimes stupid people. No offense to you, brother. No offense to you,
Not
brother.
gonna lie, sometimes
You,
sometimes there are stupid questions, but I think it's how you
how you
say.
say it, how you phrase it. I understand what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
It's like what was the episode of what was I watching? It was American Dad with Steve asked a question and he
American.
laughed. American Dad. Remember American
Oh
Dad?
yeah, I stopped looking at that for some reason.
It used to be on Fox and then moved it to a TBS. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's on TBS, but I don't look at it. It's on the Cartoon Network at times, but I don't look at it too much.
I don't really look at it much. I watched Family Guy last night. It was
Yeah,
crazy. They had like a flashback episode, like they were doing. Yeah, yeah. And I watched they had Simpsons on last night. They had some kind of new TV show. I didn't care about.
yeah,
I watched the Miss Scarlet and the Duke. That's on PBS.
yeah.
I like that show.
You used to be, yo. I'm surprised, man. Like, I mean, I could imagine you could be like a sports anchor or something. I'm like the way you just like.
Well,
I'm just listening. It's like equal MC squared type stuff, man. I'm like listening to you.
my man Big Keith told me that I could be a good commentator for
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
yeah.
Shout out to my man Big Keith.
That's your
He's
calling or something. I don't. Well, YouTube is your platform, so
yeah,
you know.
and I would love to do something like that. If somebody reach out to me, what one thing? This is what should one thing you can do like this. Like me and Sean talk about this. You don't have to start another show. All you have to do is go to a promoter for a show. If you
Right,
get enough people, one thing is you have to have the money for the prize money for women's bodybuilding.
right,
They have to have their prize money because the other show is going to put the prize money towards the other divisions. If somebody like this is like this, and and I know some of you guys who follow my channel, who know people, know people. You can share this stuff, and what you should do is, reach out to There's some guys who have deep pockets, who are undercover schmoes, undercover fan of women's bodybuilding. All they got to do is put the money together, have somebody be a representative, and go to these promoters. You can go to Tim Gardner, you can go to Linda Murray, you can go to I think Dan D'Antoni. I believe that's his name is. He has the Omaha. He does most of the shows in the Midwest, like Omaha and also St. Louis and a couple others. We should go to them and offer them, offer them the money. If they get what meaning this is money. Promoters don't pay for anything; they get the money from sponsors. If he sponsors, that's what one time it was hard for the Rise of Phoenix because they couldn't barely find sponsors because no one wanted to sponsor a show where it's all women. As you all know, men's bodybuilding is the flagship. Basically, you're from New York, you know how the pimps out there say the men's bodybuilding is the bottom bitch, and the bottom bitch makes your money. And they're always going back. You got bikini right behind it.
Right.
That's one of the most popular women's divisions. As you see now, Arnold push.
No, I said I think because maybe because it looks more feminine with the bikini, like than than the bodybuilder stuff, because you know how it was, like they kind of like stigmatize it, and it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's I think the reason why bikini is so, I would say, popular because it may be appealing to a lot of people than I would say female bodybuilders.
One thing is, bikini is like bikini been around for a long time. You go back when women bodybuilding started out, it was more like bikini. They wear the high heels.
Yeah.
It was more like you get from the old beauty contest shows.
Right.
That's how it was. But then after a while it evolved because those ladies started out like in the good part of the 70s. People like Carla, Carla Dunlap, Georgia Fudge, those ladies, and then they kicked out the high heels, and then they became a little bit more conditioned and a little more size. People like Richard McLeish, Corey Everson. Then like anything, it kept evolving from Corey to Linda to Kim to Iris to Andrea, and then the reason why I brought in physique because they was back in around about 1999, or almost 2000.
Okay.
They put a stimulation that they want the women to pull back 20 to 90% on their muscle. But the fact was, and then the thing is, you can't pull that back. You don't tell the guys to pull back. And what it was, that's why I created a division like 212 because guys who were a little shorter, and it's hard for them to compete with guys who were bigger and a little taller.
I don't even pay attention to men's like that. I mean, I remember Lee Haney, Dorian Yates. That's how far I go back, the 90s. Like, I don't even.
Jay Cutler was very popular. The late Sean Roden. People like Chris, come here. Remember the movie John Q? The little boy had a little toy. Chris, come here.
Did I see that?
John Q said, "I ain't burying my son. My son gonna bury me."
I don't think I've seen that one.
You see that one? That's a great movie. That's one of Denzel's. I like Denzel.
Johnny Q?
No, John Q.
That was with Denzel Washington?
That was Denzel Washington.
I think I seen that. in the theaters. Probably.
His son got sick, and they tried to give him a transplant.
Yeah, and he did a robbery, right, or something.
No, it was robbery. He held up the hospital for his son to get operation.
Yeah. I seen that in the theater. Eddie Griffin was in that movie.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin was in the movie. That other dude, Ethan Suplee, he was in the movie.
I seen that.
The Titans, also with Denzel. I remember. But the thing is, like, they wanted to bring in a division,
right?
Like fitness. Fitness was created because some women didn't want to push that size and muscle development. They wanted something to say still feminine, so to create fitness. But then some of those women didn't want to jump around and and do a lot of flipping like that. Then they created physique. This is one thing. Kim Zavetsky, who was the 4-time Miss Olympia, she did those two divisions. And to me, as a fan, it's a slap in the face. You were Miss Olympia. I can respect what Linda did when she started to retire, but then come back. She retired. She jumps over to another division. She dropped a lot of muscle and size, and then she didn't do too good over in both figure or fitness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, figure was brought in as an alternative for those women who didn't want to do all the jump around chicken sweat.
Yeah.
And then, that division started even changing. If you look at people like, y'all know, you know a lot of these ladies like Jessica Padilla Reyes, Lola Montez, even look at the current champion, Cindy Gillen. those women started involving. I know they're really pissed when Arnold announced they're dropping figure from his main show.
Right.
And I know some ladies who were thinking about competing at the amateur classic show. But they said no, I'm not gonna compete at the show where you don't even have my division there representing itself. They didn't like that. But hey, now because it's about money, we as amateur, you have to pay to compete
Yeah.
because they charge you a fee. You can do as many divisions you want, but you have to pay the divisions. Some women would do 2 or 3 divisions. I've seen women who do physique and do figure. I've seen women who do physique and bodybuilding because they want to get up because this is a show is a pro qualified and they want to spread the opportunities. And the thing is that when it gets so close, we can't tell the difference between figure and physique or physique and bodybuilding. Like when I talk with Mariana, it's that really thin line, you know. And if you look at the Olympia in the physique division, you look at people like, Ashley Jones. She's getting, she was a figure competitor. Then no more than maybe a year after she turned pro, when she was a figure competitor, she switched up to physique.
Right.
And now if you look at her now, she's getting huge. One lady looks tight. She did an interview with David from Female Bodybuilding Forum. She said she's not going to go up, but she said she's going to go up this year because the fact is she's getting those muscle bellies. She's getting huge. She's getting her lats are big. She has good lat division. I took a picture of her, and
I
there's a
think I
picture
know
of
what you're talking about too. I forgot her name just now.
Melissa Tyke.
The who?
With Melissa Tyke, or are you talking about Ashley Jones?
I think I seen the one with Ashley Jones. I seen that one, but it was one I seen recently. It's I forgot her name. I forgot her name. It's not coming to me right now.
Well, we'll get it later. But anyway, this is what it is. Physique division is just fueling women's
Yeah.
bodybuilding. And if you could, like I said, think about this thing about trying to get promoters. If you can get the sponsors to throw money behind the promoters to have a place for women's bodybuilding, like, and you don't have to be some big company. It could be just a group of people
Yeah.
who come together and say, you know what, we're fans of women's bodybuilding. We want them to have a stage. There's so few stages. You got to think about it. As I said again, you had the Vancouver show, Puerto Rico, Toronto, both Chicago and Tampa.
Okay.
Then you have the show in Europe. There's 2 shows in Europe. That's the Portugal Pro and the show in Spain and New York. Now that's about 10 shows. So counting, if you don't have any more shows after that, because you're still waiting on the Linda shows, that'd be 12. Now that's gonna be because you don't have the point system anymore. Counting the 3 qualifiers for the Olympia, Andrea, Hella, and Angela. That's going to be 15 competitors. Now, here's one thing that could happen. The Rising Phoenix is the World Championship, but it's an Olympia qualifier show. Andrea has won that show 3 times in a row,
Okay.
and all the other competitors competing since the last couple of years have been either both Wing Strength ambassadors or qualified for the Olympia. What should happen is all qualifiers for the Olympia should not compete. Also, the current champion of the Olympia shouldn't compete. Make that show more inclusive, not just ambassadors, but anybody who applied to compete at this show. It's pretty much what it did with the used to be back then. Anybody used to compete, but because they started changing some things, I know a lady by the name of Tana Huey. We're good friends. We become good friends. She competed there about 2018. A couple of other competitors competed there that didn't, even they just applied or they either qualified by, take a second at a show, and they were able to compete at the Rising Phoenix.
Right.
What should happen is Andrew needs to step out. I know it's the way to make some money and get a car, but you already got 2 cars and a truck.
Right.
It's $50,000. You should get $50,000 at the Olympia, but he should do like this. It should rise the money for the Olympia women's bodybuilding. I would say $100,000. Think about it. You don't have to get another car or another truck because I don't know what you do with the other 2 cars. I think they
Mm.
said that they take them like I know with Hella she sold her Hellcat, and I think I don't know what she did with her other two cars she got, but she got a new truck now. They say they pay for the insurance for those cars for the first year, and then tax insurance is now on your responsibility. I don't know. She might have taken those. I think some people said they could sell them back to the Olympia, and they just put them to the Windsor Strength. They just put them, up in the as like kind of like trophies in the at the main office in Arizona. We got my man, Sean McMillan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Sean. Thank you for coming through, brother. Now, I said like this: if you are a Windsor Strength ambassador, as you know, there's no longer a point system. Yes, you should compete. If you're a competitor who wants to apply to compete, let them compete. But if you're someone who already has the Olympic qualification, you shouldn't compete. I understand it's about getting that prize money you get for like best poser, best video, most muscular. I understand that. I understand that. But what you're doing is you're taking, if you are already got your qualification and you win, you're taking away qualification for somebody else who probably can go to the Olympia. Now I'm saying it's about you want to be competitive. I respect that. You want to be competitive. But yeah, remember, women's bodybuilding only has so few shows. They forget that part. Now, if you look over physique is busy. They are busy. And I can tell you, they have nearly, you know, 20 shows. And that's at least nearly maybe 7, 8 shows than women's bodybuilding. Now, I'm going to show you, we're going to go here and I'm going to show you give me a second. I got to pull that up again and show you the list for women's physique. Now, a second. Give you a little education here, brother. Get you educated here.
Okay. You
Now,
could zoom in a little bit. Or...
let's see if I can. Let me try. I'm trying to see if I can zoom in some. How you do the zoom thing? How you do the zoom thing? Somebody told me how to do the zoom thing. Where is that? Oh, there it is. It's zoom. Okay. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit.
All right. That's
Okay.
good.
Oh, it might be a little too. Let me back off some. All right. Now, this is the list for women's physique. Now we're gonna go up a little bit because I zoomed in a little bit. So let's see.
And these are all the shows for this year. Wow.
Yeah, I believe this is all the show. If this, yeah, because they're gonna have more shows.
Mm.
Let me go up from the top. Now, the first show we know what they're gonna have is the Vancouver. This is a show that's bikini.
Yeah.
I went to this bikini. Yeah,
I
this is
seen one in Japan.
yeah, that's bikini for Japan because
Oh,
Japanese
okay.
women's. I think truthfully, you know,
Do you
women.
be looking at that, or you interested in that?
I don't really pay attention much to the bikini. I don't. I
Okay.
honestly don't pay attention much about bikini because it's not really women's bodybuilding. So
Right.
my show is about women's bodybuilding. I don't. So there's no point me doing content about bikini. See what I thought back. No, that's men's physique. Yeah, let's see. Now I know the first show for women's physique is going to be the show that's men's classic physique. Is the show in that's men's 212. The show in wait a minute. Let me go back up here and go to women's physique. Click here. Now the first show for women's physique is the same show for women's bodybuilding. That is the show in Vancouver. Now they have another show after that. That's Jack Altone. No, not Dan Tone. It's Jack Altone. The Altones run both these shows in the Midwest. That's St. Louis. That's next, and that's in May. And after that, there's the Pittsburgh Pro. That's run by Jim Mannion. Ah, he's right now a little issue. That's a show I would say somebody go to them and maybe you can persuade because Jim he's the promoter and Jim Mannion's about money. If you offer him a good amount of money, you can probably put women's bodybuilding in this show. But I don't know, Jim Mannion, he's kind of funny, yo. Now we have the New York Pro. That's the Weinberger. That's Steve Weinberger and Bev Francis show. Then you have a show in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is the Ultimate Classic Pro. That I think you can go with this guy Robert Superman Blunt. Maybe you can go to him and try to get women's bodybuilding there too. If you got to put the money. Now Jack Tony again, he's the one who's dropped women's bodybuilding from his show, the Omaha Pro.
Jack Tony.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jack Tony. They say Jack Tony. Yeah, how you name sounds. And I remember people talking about it. They're not a big fan of this guy. There was only 2 competitors that show. That was Kelly LaFavor, and Denise and Danielle Willis. I know one lady. She said she could have done that show. She only lived 2 hours away from Omaha. She said she could do a show, but her coach told her not to do the show.
Mm.
And she could have, and from pictures she showed me, stuff like that, she could have won her qualification for the show. I remember she told me, she does the show at least 3 times a year, and this is the first time she didn't do it because her coach told her. But she had done that show, she most definitely could have won that her qualification. But we talked about it. She said she just regretted. She wished she had done it. She didn't listen to her coach. Sometimes you don't always have to listen to your coach. When you
Right.
feel like you have an opportunity for something, take it. Also, we have here the Toronto Pro, and that's June. Then another show in Anchorage, Alaska, and that is the Pro League Arctic Masters Pro. Now the Masters shows, those shows are not Olympic qualification, even though as you know, this year is going to be the premiere of the Olympia Masters, but it's not Olympic qualification show, but it should be.
Right.
And I'll talk about that later. Then you had the Puerto Rico, the show in Brazil, which had women's bodybuilding last year. Now they don't have it. And that's kind of messed up. They could have still had because they don't have two competitors, like I said before. But there's plenty of bodybuilders in Brazil, but they don't want to take the opportunity to jump over there. They feel like I still have physique. But here's the thing like this: if you feel like it's too crowded in some physique shows, you have shows with 15 to 20 some women, almost 30. And I
Mm.
think if you are somebody, I'll talk about this also. If you are a physique competitor, feel like you can squeeze in bodybuilding, you should do it. Then you had the Big Man Evolution, which is the Portugal Pro. You have Chicago Pro, Telepro. This is the Pro League Pacific USA's. And that's in San Diego, California. And the thing is, California, has always had a good history with bodybuilding.
Mm.
But it's just that they hadn't had women's bodybuilding in California in a long time. I think there's some ladies who live in the West, and they would love to do a show in California. If there's a show in California, there's a lot of female bodybuilders in California.
Right.
I mean, Andrea Saw, me and her talked about in an interview. She said she wishes more shows who in bodybuilding out west, other than Arizona. The Rise in Phoenix. And that's a show you got to get invited, or did she change that now? Now, this also Texas Pro. Now, I saw, this is like when you put out the list, there was going to be a show in Texas. And I was glad because I know some women who live in Texas who would love to do a women bodybuilding show in Texas. But then they dropped it. I said, what the hell happened? So that's the Texas Pro. That's a show that Sarah Villas put $15,000 for women's physique. And then they at one point they was going to have women's bodybuilding, but then it was gone. I said, what the hell happened? I mean, I know there's a lot of Myla Ash, she lives in Texas. Mona Persolet moved to Texas. There's quite a few other female bodybuilders that live in Texas. And there's some bodybuilders don't live in Texas that live close to Texas, who live out west, that would love to have a show closer to them. They don't have to go all the way to Chicago, Tampa, or New York. I know one lady, her name is Wendy Sanchez. She's a competitor. She lives in Colorado. She would, she would love to, Texas to Colorado wouldn't be no more than a 4 or 5 hour drive for her, like she told me, 4 or 5, 6 hour drive. She wanted to take a plane and fly like she did to New York and to do a show, And we have the Ropo show in Spain. This is also a show. This is a master show, and it's in Nevada. And that is the Legion's Sports Fest. It has masters and also open class. The master shows, I said again, are not Olympic qualification, but the main open show is Olympic qualification. And that's a show that could also have women's bodybuilding.
Right.
It's by Chris Meanies, I think that's his name is. Also, we have here, the Olympia. Then you have the Hermosa Fest. This is a show that's kind of new to me. The Ben Weeder Natural Pro, and that's in Virginia. I said, wait a minute.
That's Joe Weider's son?
No. Ben Weeder is Joe's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's him. Ben was the face of bodybuilding. No. Joe was the face of bodybuilding.
Right.
Ben was the guy behind bodybuilding. He was the money guy. He was the brains guy. Joe was just the face and the name. Ben mostly did a lot of the work from behind. He was the guy that worked back the scenes. Ben died a little before Joe died. I think no more than I think 3 or 4 years before Joe died.
I remember his energy, his protein drinks I used to get when I was younger.
Now this show is sponsored by. It's in Alexandria, Virginia, and sponsored by Gary Unit. And Gary Unit does a lot of the master shows. This is, I don't know I believe this might be Olympic qualification. It might not. I might think about this. I've been saying I've been wanting to go to another show. My niece, I don't know when Lynn's going to have an Atlanta show. I have a niece that lives in Atlanta. That's the one that brought me home when I missed my train from Savannah. This show's 2 days long. Now, if I can find, if it's, like I said, I think the first part of it is going to be probably the Masters part. Then the next part on the 18th, because the 18th, my birthday is going to be 19th.
What show you talking about?
This show here, the Ben Weider Natural Pro.
Okay.
Now, that's Williams Physique's going to be there.
Mm.
Somebody could approach Gary Udit, because Gary about money, and offer he's trying to sponsor women's bodybuilding for the show. I don't know if this show is an Olympic qualification or not, but it says it's called, Natural Pro, and no one evades up natural. Then after that, you have the Atlantic Coast Pro in Miami, and that has women's bodybuilding. It also has masters, but also this show is also still Olympic qualification because Whitney Armstrong, who lives in my state of North Carolina, she's from Charlotte. She qualified, got her Olympic qualification. The show. That show is it's on the 18th. It's the same weekend as the show in Alexandria, Virginia. Yeah, that's Tim Gardner's show.
I have a question for you. Like in the Savannah, how many people were there? Like, would you say like
counting? I think they did both women's open and women's masters. Some women did just the masters, and some women did both masters and open. So I had to guess. Let me see. I think I had to guess. Maybe was it 12 or 14? I think for women's bodybuilding, and at least about 20 to 22 for physique. They also had bikini for that show. It was like the 4 division for that show was women's bodybuilding, physique, bikini, and men's classic. And for each division, they did masters. But that's it. There's no. I think.
I think I was referring to like the guests, like the audience, like.
Oh, the audience.
Like the seats was filled, or
there was a few empty seats. I sat in the VIP section because that costs a little bit more money. You sit in the VIP section, but you get to be a little bit closer to the stage. Not as close as compared to to the judges or where the part. I remember I was sitting there. I got to see Linda Murray, and Linda Murray turned around. She gave me a smile.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, it was. She's can you believe she's almost 60.
Yeah, I see her pictures, man. I'm like,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, we're here. Wait, my man. Sean said, glad to see Texas Pro has no, Sean. Texas Pro is not having women's bodybuilding. They was gonna have it, but it wasn't gonna be a show in Irving, but they dropped it. They're not gonna have women's bodybuilding. No, they're not gonna have women's bodybuilding. They dropped women's bodybuilding. So also it's effed up that the Indie Pro was gotten rid of. Well, what it was, the guy who ran it, Dave Brower, he's about money. He has other businesses, and it wasn't gratuitous for him financially to keep the show up if he can't find sponsors. And even though he was doing, it was also a pro-am show. And with amateurs, they have to pay to compete. And some of that money from the amateurs go to the prize money for the competitor. But a good part of it comes from sponsors. But he couldn't find enough sponsors. He couldn't keep it up. So it's not so much it was canceled, so much that the promoter just couldn't find enough people to keep promoting it. If he had somebody like maybe Wing Strength backed it up, maybe put some money towards it, or get some other sponsors to get behind it, maybe he could have kept the show because that was the debut of women's bodybuilding. Teresa and Vosik won that show. Originally, I remember talking to people said that Teresa was going to do New York instead of doing this show, but she decided to cut her prep short and do that show. And even though she cut her prep short by maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, she still looked good. I mean, she looked good. Teresa, she has a good back, but she still has small spinning legs. Her legs. If her legs can get with her body better, she would do a lot better. But it was saying about the Masters thing. It said it's not Olympia qualifier because you do have the Masters, but that show the Masters is the Olympia Masters. That's an invitation.
That's for like the older ones, the older bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, but that show is going to be this. I think it's going to be this summer. And we'll have in Romania. But here's like this: why not have it part of the main Olympia? Why have it in another country on another time? Why not have it with the main Olympia? Because I remember years ago they did have Masters, but it's have a men.
Right.
They had it years ago, about in the '90s. They had men's Olympia Masters, and they dropped it because people like Vince Taylor, I think Lou Ferrigno, a couple of the guys competed at that show. They did it for a couple of years, but then eventually dropped it. Here's the thing: is this with the Master Show? With Master Shows, you had a different age classes. You have women from 30, 35 plus, uh, 40 plus, 44 plus. What you do? And some women will compete in those different. You have women who will compete in each of those different. You have women who are 40 to 45 to 50 compete in those classes. Then you have women from 50 to 50 to 55. But what you do like this: whoever wins the overall, like in there, whoever wins the overall, who wins their class, it should have like they have in the amateur shows, have overall to see who qualified for the Olympia. What now? What that does is it gives more body for women's bodybuilding, but also gives more body for women's physique. And also for the other divisions, what they want to do is they want to cut down the amount of people. That's why they dropped the whole points thing because what it does is cut down the number of people. But then when don't have no shows women's bodybuilding, it's just something they could do. They could take, like I said again, they could take each winner who wins their age class, have an overall, and call that Olympia qualification, not just for the Master Show, but also for the main Olympia. They could do that, but it's about money and all that other stuff, and all that. It's a money thing, and if you don't make money from it, they're not going to do enough for it.
Do you think they make a lot of money, like for it to for for it to be popular, like more like for? I mean, can they make it like try to make it popular, or
Well, what the thing is, the NPCIBB is seen as non-profit,
okay,
meaning most of the money they get is more or less from donations, from sponsors,
mm,
and from it's mostly donations from sponsors. A lot of these supplement and apparel companies put money behind it, and they do make a lot of money. Now,
mm,
there's also a thing. One of the guy I talked about earlier, Gary Unit.
yeah,
His shows they do a lot of cash. I remember somebody say they can't even pay with a card. You know how most times, like me, I don't carry cash that much.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't carry cash that much. I mostly, if I go somewhere, I have my ATM, my debit
yeah.
card.
That's mostly I do too. Like if
Yeah,
when I have money,
yeah. Like I used to take this guy to work. He was one of my riders, or he gave me money to take him to work, and that's sometimes the most time when I have money when I
yeah,
take him to work.
yeah,
That's when I have cash. But most people they don't carry cash much, like you said. Most people pay with their cards and stuff. But what it is with his shows, he wants cash in the barrelhead. They have
oh,
ATMs there. If you don't have ATM, you have to go somewhere, or you have to come to the show. You make sure you have cash.
this
That's in your
guy,
hmm?
this Gary Unit, what you
Yeah,
said?
Gary Unit. So
Okay,
most of
Gary
the shows,
Unit. Okay,
we pay for your interest because with masters you have to pay an interest fee, like
oh,
you were an amateur. And somebody told me that. Say it was like about a while back. Somebody told me this woman she was competing in masters. Say, well, I say, oh, we have to pay to compete in masters. Say, what? You're a pro. I thought as a pro you don't have to pay. I
right.
thought amateurs pay. Say, no, it's masters because master show is not as it's said popular per se. But you seen a lot
Okay,
more.
so like how you like? I'm sorry, how you supposed to be this professional athlete, but you paying for this competition? That's kind of kills me.
Well, because it's again, masters not as popular as open.
Master, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and then that money they pay in for the master shows, that money goes back into the prize money. Now, I remember one lady, this Wendy, she competed in a master show in women's bodybuilding.
yeah.
She paid maybe $300 for her to register for a masters, and she pretty much got that $300 back.
Mm.
Some shows, I remember when I was at Savannah, the lady who won the Masters, Hyman, she got maybe $600 or $700.
$6 or $7.
Six or $700.
Six. Repeat that again.
$600 or $700
Oh,
for
okay.
first place winning Masters.
That's not a lot of money.
That's not a lot of money. You gotta think about it. Like it says, as a professional bodybuilder, especially for the women, it's more expensive. Now, like you can say, well, guys gotta eat food, but guys they don't have to pay other. Okay, you break it like this. You look
Yeah,
over the men. Other than paying for your trip, you're paying for your food, you're paying for staying in a motel.
rent
You know,
money $600 or $700.
Yeah, and you paying, that's not rent. You in New York. I don't. That's.
Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, I know. I had a nephew. My
My
nephew.
bad, my bad. But I mean, that's probably
We just lost him. You know, it's my man. It's my man. Exeguchi 23. Hey, George Page, he's coming through. Speech to him. Shout out to Exeguchi. You're coming through. He's a Nunez fan. We got him back.
yeah. Yo, that that's probably my bank account like from months ago, 6 or 7.
That's not even my bank account. I'm already, because I live on Social Security. So I live SSI. I'm about broke already, brother. I mean, I already pay my rent and stuff like that, and put gas in my car, and I got to pay
That's
my.
terrible.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it is. It's just how it is.
I,
But
I I was watching this years ago. Brian Gumble, he was he did a documentary on female bodybuilders and stuff like that. I think Brandy May was there, and they was explaining how they don't get that much money, and sometimes they like for like they was talking about like certain implants they do and stuff like that,
mhm.
certain shots, and so like certain shots that they take and all this crazy stuff, man. Like,
Brandon May Ackers, I remember that she was on an episode of the Jane Party Show one time. I remember I saw that
yeah,
I was on his Real Sports, and the thing. Oh, my
that's
man.
what.
Yeah, my man X say Team Nunez. Forget Team Nunez. Forget the lion ass queen. Forget her. Forget her. Forget. And yeah, I'm a hater. I'm a news hater. I hate till I can't hate no more.
Team Nunez, what's that? What's
Amanda Nunes is a MMA fighter. She's double champ. She has champion. She was titled both in women's 135, 145. She lost a 135 title a while back, but she got it back when she beat Julianne Pena. But that's upside the point. But the thing is, it's a money thing. That's why
yeah,
I was kind of suspicious with Arnold drop figure. Because figure posted, this is what figure is. Figure walks that line where it's the ladies are a little more muscular. They're kind of like if you look at bikini competitors and you cross bikini competitors with physique competitors. They're not too muscular. If you look at some of the girls, and then you brought in wellness, which is a very popular division because some of the, like lady I did an interview at Daphne Carter, she was physique. She switched over to wellness because she's Haitian and she's a little bit more thicker. It's for women who have those black genetics. That's
yeah,
why a lot of the women who winning are women from Brazil, from the Caribbean, some countries where which they have Afro features, Afrocentric genetics.
right,
And some of the women they do take little shots like they get some kind of oil, something shoot up in their butt to make them look like it's a little round form. Especially the
yeah,
white chicks. You don't see too many unless you're a white chick from the South or from the Midwest. Most white women don't be that thick.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But my man X, he's laughing. Yeah, laugh now, cry later, clown. And here's the thing: is that division was brought in because it walks that fine line. Some of the girls, I was watching some video clips from the because I watch I post a lot of stuff. I follow a lot of station networks and channels on YouTube and post some videos from the Olympia. And some of those women, they have biceps definition like
Yeah,
physique and bodybuilders, but because it walks that fine line, they don't overstep it. They're just all
right,
the others are just buff bikini competitors with big butts. Now you look at figure, you break it like this. Figure is a division good for taller women because the women
okay,
with taller, broader shoulders, and physique is good. No, not physique. Well, is good for the women a little shorter, a little thicker. That's why I'm hearing like this one lady. I think she mentioned the one time, Christina Mendoza. She's Cuban, big, thick quads like Margie. She did an interview with Female Body Channel. She's thinking about going over to wellness. She don't have a lot of upper body. She don't have a lot of definition of upper body. That might be a good move for her because she's a little more bottom heavy. It's harder for her being that she's Cuban, and Cuba is a country that was one of the because this is what it is. If you know the history of slavery, two of the biggest slave traders in around the Caribbean was
right,
Portugal and Spain, and Cuba was one Spanish territory. they had a lot of slaves. Brazil was Portuguese territories, a lot of
Right.
slaves. You take
Yeah.
and you mill people of European descent with people of Afro descent and people of native or indigenous people in that one country, you get this particular you get the qualities that what was it? They're black, but they're not black. You get those qualities. You get with the Afro, you have with the European, you get the straight hair, long, with the native indigenous people, you get the more tan look, and with the Afro, you get the thicker thighs, the bigger hips, you know.
Mm.
And you would think black women would do a lot better in division. They're not. They're not. There's only some women have won some of the qualifications. Some got there by points. But it's like I said. I don't do too much content on it. I do my comparison videos. And
Yeah, yeah,
most of my comparison videos I do mostly women's bodybuilding, figure, physique, and sometimes fitness. It's hard with fitness because I don't know a lot of the ladies, but the ones I do know, I try to do comparisons with them. With fitness and figure, only that separates them is that the figure girls don't have to do all the jump around and chicken sweat like
yeah.
the fitness. The poses are similar. They only have those four mandatory poses. You have the starting pose, kind of like almost like a front double. Then you have a quarter turn to the right, another quarter turn which just show your back, and another quarter turn. Now in bikini and wellness, you don't have to show your back. You ever see the girls? They just take their hair, like the hair hang, and they stick their butts out.
Right.
That's all they do in their division. They don't do
Yeah.
any kind of other poses than that. That's why I don't do a lot of content on that because with figure girls, some of the figure girls have backs as good as some bodybuilders and physique competitors. You know, and they walk that fine line where they're almost if you look at it. I remember when I was watching a video from backstage at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. I'm looking at people like Jessica Badia, Reyes, she's a figure competitor. I'm looking at Missy Trescott, who's physique. I mean fitness. I'm looking at Erica Deer, who's fitness. A couple of figure fitness girls. You couldn't tell that was two divisions. You would
Right.
think it was one division. I saw Jessica Badia did a photo session with Gardner, who took fourth at 2021. Who took fifth at the 2021 um, Olympia in physique. That's her name is Anna Harris. Her and Anna, they looked like. Anna, she's Mexican. Jessica is Puerto Rican. You couldn't tell which one was figure. If you didn't know them, what division they win, you couldn't tell which one was figure and which one was physique. If you looked at, like if you saw Anna, Anna's kind of tall, she's long legged. She looks like she could be a figure competitor. I've seen pictures of Jessica Padilla. She trains heavy. She looks like she could be physique, but she's been physique. She's been figure for the last 10 years.
Mm.
Competing, and she took second to, Cindy Gillen. It's the thing is that it's walking that fine line where in which that
Just somebody calling me.
oh, go ahead.
No, it just blacked out. I seen the screen. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, but these divisions are starting to meld each other. Now, this is one thing I say like this: they could do this. Take physique and push it up, and you can do like back in the day. You can call it women's lightweight bodybuilding.
Mm.
All the women got to do is just change the poses. They don't have to do the their poses like they do the open hand poses. They had to do like the clinch hands because in women's physique there's only five poses, and the poses are different. Women's physique do the front double, the side chest, rear double, tricep, and ab. Now with the front double and the rear double, they have their hands open because they're supposed to be more feminine. And with the side chest, they extend their arms out.
Right.
All right, you know. When women's bodybuilding, their poses are supposed to be like men's bodybuilding. They
Right.
do clinch fist for a front double. They
Yeah.
do the front lat spread, rear lat spread, and also when they do the side chest, they do like the men. They do it like when they really
Yeah.
present their chest. The only thing that's pretty much the same is the ab abdominal poses and the tricep pose. Now, this is where, like I said, I would like this. If I was a physique competitor, we go to a show where there's women's
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I gotta go because
That's all right, brother. That's all right, brother.
I
If you ever,
appreciate you, man. Really,
yeah, yeah,
take
yeah. If you
invite
ever
me.
want to, yeah, I'm glad. If you ever want to come back on, just me and my partner, or just you and me, or you want to talk about this, let me know and we set it up. We have a little, we'll do a little education. We
All
educate
right,
people to understand. But
all
I
right,
appreciate you, brother. Good luck to you.
all right.
When's your next interview coming up?
I'm not even sure because this, I supposed to have had one this past Saturday, Sunday, but they kind of flaked out on me and stuff. But I'm thinking it's this session wrestler. She's supposed to um um come, like we supposed to talk on Wednesday. So I don't know.
Well, like I said, whenever you get set up, I'll be happy to sit in with you, or just give my thoughts or something like that, or just be there supporting. You don't have to bring me. I just sit there and support and listen because you don't
Mm.
like me taking over, especially if I bring in the other guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe. Yo,
That's the commander of the
Yo,
wall.
I noticed. I wanted to tell you.
What
You like quoting. I noticed you quote a lot of
movies?
the Batman Begins and the second one, but you don't quote the third one.
I don't.
You don't
That's
like the
Bane.
third
That's
one.
Bane. I like. He was all right, but that's Bane. He said like I was born in the dark. I just it just it, for that one, you have to have the right situation to use that one. But with the Batman Begins
Yeah,
and Dark Knight, those were especially Heath Ledger.
yeah,
That's great. Such a key. Like we says, like dynamite and gasoline. He loves anarchy. You know.
yeah. He was a psychopath, man, in that movie, man. Like,
Yeah, that what killed him because he just Heath was a method
I
actor.
heard he was really obsessed with that role.
Yeah,
Like,
he when he was dating that old girl used to be on Dawson Creek, the blonde one.
yeah,
He,
yeah,
he
yeah,
told her
yeah,
he said he killed 20 people that day. He was telling because it just took his mind over because he had to go too deep into that character. But it
yeah,
was just he won an Oscar for it. I hate to say he died to get the
yeah.
Oscar, but he won it. But like I said, if you ever want to maybe just not do this one, I want to talk maybe just come on. We have an educational thing about
Right.
people don't understand about it. You're welcome to come. I'll
Yeah,
teach you a
I
little something.
appreciate you, man, on that. Thank you, because I mean, even when you talking, some things I be a little lost, but some things I get and stuff. It takes time because I
Well,
just like
well,
displaying them with pictures and stuff.
yeah. Well, I had to learn too, and take
Yeah,
the time. And which is some of the interviews I've done, and people I've become friends with, and
right,
people I've come conversations. I'm learning too, because
right,
I just with the basics. But I learned a lot of stuff from what I've learned, and that's things
yeah,
people tell you something, especially if you keep their confidence.
right,
And that's why I say when people come see me information, I don't give their name. Say I call them like I said, I am like I said again, I am the Lord of the Wall, and my little ravens every so often send me some messages. Let me tell you something, my little ravens. Yeah, I appreciate my little ravens.
I seen that show Game of Thrones. That shit is off the hook. I didn't see everything, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I missed some of that, but that I seen some of that on DVD. I'm like, wow, this shit's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I could see why people like that show.
Well,
Like,
they don't make shows like that much anymore with dragons and magic and
yeah,
monsters. Not on basic regular television anymore. You got to try to catch on cable. Maybe
it
like
was
something like
intense. Like, I'm seeing some of these episodes, and I even
watch. You should watch the episode. You ever saw the one with the red wedding? That was the one that changed everything. The red wedding
yeah,
when they
yeah,
killed
I
Rob,
gotta
Rob Stark and his mom and his bride. She was pregnant.
right,
And they killed everybody, just about everybody in that one.
yeah,
Rob was supposed to be next in line as the Lord Woodford, and then went to where his brother Brandon became the king of all of the seven continents, well six, because his sister became he took the north away from him. This is funny thing. They could have done the better way with that ending. That ended sucked. I
yeah,
watched that ending. It sucked. John should have been the king. They could have done a better way with that ending. I don't
right.
know. The guys who wrote that story, they need to be took him to a basement and told him, rewrite this shit. This is it. Nobody don't want to see that shit. But like I said, brother, if you really want to come on the next time and we'll talk about, and I'll give you a little more history and
Right.
educate you a little more, you're
Right.
welcome. You're
No
welcome.
problem, man. No
All right.
problem.
Let's
Peace and
go
love,
ahead.
man.
Your mama calling you. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man.
All
Later.
right, brother. Peace and love to you. Good luck to you. Anyway, that's my man KL, aka the Wanderer, aka Go Against Nature. And but back to the subject, and before I head out, because now I got maybe I'll save another 10 minutes before I head out. What should happen is that People, if you have the means and the ways, and I know there's a lot of you guys who are smos, who have deep pockets, who are fan of female bodybuilding, who are complaining that there's not enough shows for women bodybuilding. There's not enough shows for women bodybuilding. Why are there so few shows for women's bodybuilding? Why are there not, more ladies for women's bodybuilding? What you should do is this, and I'm gonna say it like this: reach out to some of these promoters, people like Gary Unit, people like Jack T Tay Tony or whatever his name is. Also, even to someone like Tim Gardner, if you can. If you have deep pockets, or you don't want to be, hey, I don't want to be, I don't want people to know that I'm a bodybuilder smoke. But hey, you can do this: hire a lawyer, have somebody represent you. You have yourself like a little caucus or a little, get together with a bunch of guys who have deep pockets like yourself. Reach out to these shows and say, hey, I want to put up maybe me and a bunch of guys put up $10,000 to have a show for women's bodybuilding. And you can, and if you have the way, you know, a good tax lawyer. Everybody knows, hey, you got that good lawyer. Hey, I got a good lawyer here. He makes you walk in a beat in Alaska wearing galosses. If you have a good tax lawyer, you can write that off. You call it a charity because NPCAIB, they're considered a nonprofit. You can write it off as a charity. You can get like maybe 5 guys together, and 5 of you can put up maybe 20 like $2,000 a piece. That's $10,000. You can use that money and go to the promoter and say, hey, I got $10,000. I want to see a place for women's bodybuilding. If that's enough to pay for the prize money, you can take $5,000. The first $5,000 can go to first place. Then you can break it down, $3,000 for, we can break it down, like $3,000 for, for second, and maybe about $1,500 for third. And if you have enough competitors, like out of the West, it's like, okay, $3,000, $8,000, that's like almost $9,000. That's $500 left over. Maybe you can use that for something else. Maybe $50 gift cards to the other competitors, depending on how many competitors you have. You have like maybe $500 left over out of it. Out of the money, you can use that. Maybe give the gift cards, $50 gift cards to other competitors. Depending, you don't have no more than $50 out of 500. 10 competitors, you have anything less than 10 competitors, you can break it down or whatever else you want to do with it. I don't know the details of it. I might ask Jada because she told me how she did it for Indy. If you can get at least 5 people or more to put up enough money where they can maybe, to sponsor a place for women bodybuilding show, go reach out to guys like, especially Gary Unit. He probably would do it because he's about money. Where I heard, maybe that guy Jack, who does the Midwest shows, because he don't have women bodybuilding at the Omaha. Also, maybe St. Louis Pro, because I think it's a bigger show. Also, maybe Linda Murray, because she's part of Winter Strength, but you may have to go to Winter Strength directly. You might talk to Jake. Also, the other promoters. There's a bunch of shows. And some of the shows is maybe have 1 division or 2 divisions. And you see, like, what, if the promoter's willing, and as long as he's not money out of his pocket, because the promoters, they're not the ones who are paying for it. It's the sponsors that pay for it. If you can talk to somebody and say, what, I got this money, I want to sponsor a women's bodybuilding show. That's all you got to do. Talk to the right people. Like I said, just go to. I'm gonna put the schedule list in the description, and in the comment section, and let's see. Yeah. Now I put in the comment section. That's the list for the 2023 schedule. On the list, there's the promoters. They have emails. The emails there, and also they got the phone numbers. If you're someone who wants to reach out to these promoters, you can email them. You can call them, and you say you're a sponsor who wants to sponsor a women's bodybuilding show at their show. And if they're interested, I would say if you can start out maybe like, okay, let's say $10,000. If you can say $10,000, and then if you have the way to maybe if you can go up, if you can get more people, and then you can do this, you can write off for the taxes. if most definitely, if you get a big tax return check, you know, if you get a big tax return check, I would say, save some money to the side, and then maybe, get some other people together and say, hey guys, I got about $1,000. If you can get another money, and somebody here and there, and get enough people to come together, like the old saying, remember the movie Soul Food? Like Mama Joe said, like a mighty, a hands like this. Once you close it, it can make a mighty blow. So if you get enough of guys, if you can get at least, I would say, if you can get $1,000 between 10 people, that's $10,000. You come together, you approach a promoter, Garrett Unit, Tim Gardner, Linda Murray, Jack Titone, or any of the other guys, and say, you know what, I want to have a place for women's bodybuilding. You don't have to start another show. You just got to go to these promoters and say you want a place for women's bodybuilding. They like what Sarah Vigors did. Remember Sarah Vigors, she said she wanted to offer $20,000 to Arnold to have women's physique. And you figure it's $20,000. You wouldn't think you take it, but you didn't. But she took that $20,000 and put it in Pittsburgh, and took $15,000 and put it towards the show in Texas. Sarah, if she don't compete, she'll be a great sponsor and promoter. She could be a great sponsor because, you know what, I remember I posted that. People said she shouldn't be doing that, but the fact is, who do you think is going to do it? If it's not somebody within the sport, you can't expect it for somebody outside of the sport. It's better. I think it's a lot more better with somebody like herself because she has a rich husband. They go to the Olympic every year in a Lear jet, while everybody else is flying coach or economy or try to get there by bus or train, or try to drive down there. She gets in a Lear jet. She'll pop in a Lear jet. I forgot. I think she lives in Pittsburgh or somewhere. I forgot particularly where she lives at. Her and husband pop in a Lear jet. Boom, the guy got money. If she wants, she could probably sponsor. I don't know if she would be interested in sponsoring a show for women's bodybuilding because she's physique. She's trying to keep her division up. But like people like Margie. Margie's been doing pretty good in money, but I don't think Margie's interested. She's. I remember I was talking to her on IG. She's done with bodybuilding. But there are people out there who do have the money. You guys, you spend money on these to like $1,500 on a session. Take that $1,500 and put it together with a bunch of guys. Hey, the small community might be a small community per se, but there's guys in that community that are fan bodybuilding, and there's guys who are undercover. I know you're undercover smokes. You're undercover fans. You don't have to, like I say, you don't have to do it yourself. You can have somebody be a representative for you and your interests. You can say, hey, you can do like this. If you're a group of guys who are undercover smokes, hire yourself a good lawyer. Have them say, hey, this is my company. This is you can say yourself a collective. Like say, hey, this is our company. We'd like to sponsor women bodybuilding shows. So you reach out to the promoters and say, we can write you a check right now for, let's say, $15,000 for women's bodybuilding. You can do as you want for the prize money, as long as you put a guideline. Make sure you put up a contract too. Make sure the contract said how much each top 3 competitor gets. Like you said, you put up $15,000 for a show. Okay, let's say $15,000 a show. $5,000 goes to let's say $7,000 goes to first place. $5,000 goes to second, and $3,000 goes to third. And then see, that's already that's pretty much all the 1,500. So but usually they probably want you to try to have a little extra money on the side. So let's say $5,000 for first, $2,000 for second, $3,000 for second, and $2,000 for third. That's $10,000. The other $5,000 they can use it for something else. Maybe for where they built these. Some of these ladies get a little after the show they get a little gift package, like a little book bag with stuff in it. That could be stuff they can put into it. Like you can get them like little stuff here and there. And if you get some of the sponsors to some of these sponsors see if it gets you extra stuff. Say, hey, we'll pay for it because if you don't give it to us, we'll pay for it. And we can put it for the gift bag for the women from bodybuilding. But that's what it needs. It needs people to reach out. I know this is a business about money, and as fans, we feel like it should be about fair sportsmanship, fair representation for a division like women's bodybuilding. But it's not like that. The truth of the matter is, it's about money. Money, 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 money. Money rules the world. Cash rules everything around me. Cream was the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. But like I said again, if you are a guy out there, if you are a group of men who are, as you know, as you said, you are undercover smokes. You don't want people to know that I like female bodybuilders. You know, you're like the guy who dates his girl. You don't want anybody to know that she's your girlfriend because you know she's something about her is not. You know, you like her, but something about you think your family friends might like. So you keep her a secret. She's your secret girlfriend. So if you can just hire yourself, get yourself a lawyer, set up contracts and stuff like that. You know, hand the contracts to the promoters, have stipulations on the contract, and then say, hey, you know, this is how the contract works. If you want the money, this is how we do things, and that's it. And these promoters would take the money because hey, it's not money from their pocket. They're not paying for it. Someone's paying for it. You know, so like I said, if you are a group of guys who are schmoes, who really have deep pockets, or you just hey, you don't have deep pockets, you just want to donate and help women's bodybuilding if you can, you know, get together, you know, and do that because they need the support they can get. You know, I wish I can do it. I would love to do this. One thing, if I had deep pockets, like if I was like, I won't say Jake Wood money, I say Bill Gates money. I would love to do this. I would love to create a couple of shows. I would love to sponsor somebody like Linda Murray. Linda Murray, she's kind of like the Arnold of women's bodybuilding. You know, I think really people might say Corey's like the Arnold of women's bodybuilding. You know, I think if you go like this, I think Linda is more like the Arnold of women's bodybuilding. I was just like Ronnie Coleman, and I think Corey is more like Lee Haney. If I say that, I think yeah, because I think because with Linda, she's more person, she's more personal, she's more personality. Why I say that? I think I might say Linda's more like Lee Haney. You know, yeah, I think Linda's more like Lee Haney, and Corey's more like Arnold. You know, and I think Rick makes more like Frank Zane, maybe Frank Zane. Like that. But if you can come to these promoters, like I said again, I left the list in the description. All the promoters' names are on the list for each show. They have their email and their phone number. You know, you might have to call a bunch of times. You might have to send a bunch of emails. But if you say reach out and ask them how much would it take to sponsor a show for women's bodybuilding, and if they get back to you, give you a price, and if the price that can work with your budget or work with that group of people budget. If you say like you go to a group of guys, and I know there's a lot of these guys you might know each other. There used to be back in the day. Used to be some chat rooms for schmoes. If you know guys who are fan of bodybuilding and say, you know what, hey, I got an idea. I want to sponsor a female bodybuilding show. So if I got already okay, say like okay, I got $300, some burn money. So I call it mad money. And if you can come up with another $4,000 or $5,000, we get together. We'll create ourselves a little like kind of a group together, which represent we will give opportunity for women bodybuilding. Then reach out to the promoter, say, hey, this is the money. We'll go with your plan. We have a contract. You sign the contract, you get the money. Don't ever like say, hey, always make sure we do something with other people. Make sure you have a contract. Make sure you have a contract. Sometimes that's the thing is if something goes wrong, you want to get your money back. Hey, you gotta make sure you have that people. Make sure everything triplicate. Everything triplicate. So anyway, folks, like I said, I like to shout out my man KLA, aka The Wanderer, aka Going Against Nature. Ephraim who came through, Peters, a man Charlotte Miller, my man Lawrence Perkins, my brother Executive 3 and 3, the Nunez lover. I'm a Nunez hater. Shout out to my man Jen. I hope you feel better, brother. We're trying to find something else to talk about next week. I mean, actually, right now, there's not going on a lot going on bodybuilding, but we try to find subjects to talk about. It's going to be really thin, for the next 4 or 5 months. I'll say about we got the show in Vancouver. That's in April. Then you got to tread through the rest of January, February, and March. But I might see there's no physique shows coming up also till May to April. So no physique shows to April. So that means that it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna be really quiet. Like I said, we're trying to figure a subject. But here's the thing: is again, if you like something we want to talk about, and especially about women's bodybuilding, you know me. You can just go to my community section, leave a thing. Also, if you go to my YouTube channel, You can just go. There's a link to my IG. Send me a DM. Tell me what you want me and Jen talk about. Because, like I said, it could be about a particular competitor. It could be about certain things need to be done, or you can talk about past shows. Just pick a subject that you like to talk about. We'll talk about it. Something that really makes sense to us and makes sense to you. We're just not going to talk about just anything. We have to be very particular. You know how YouTube is. And also people. We want also at the same time educate people about the sport of women's bodybuilding. They know so much about bodybuilding per se, but they just still don't know enough. And even I'm still learning. But folks, I'd like to appreciate you coming through. Comment, like, share. Shout outs to again my man KL for coming through. Shout out to my man Exe Gucci, my brothers. My brother Exe Gucci 23, my brothers Shaman Millen, my brothers Lawrence Perkins, my man Ephraim Peters. If I got your name wrong, Ephraim Peters, I believe that's what it is. I appreciate you coming through. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support women's bodybuilding. And I said again, if you are a guy who is a fan of women's bodybuilding, who's saying like, hey, there's not enough shows for women's bodybuilding. Why there's so few shows? Why there's few shows? Here's what you do. The link for the IFBB 2023 schedule for bodybuilding is in the comment section. And so again, click the link. You can find the you can find they got email address, phone numbers to the promoters. Reach out to them, ask questions, ask them how much it costs to sponsor a bodybuilding show for women, what you need from you, and also if you do get the connection and you do have the money in the ways, the means, have a contract. Anything you do, especially with money, have a contract. Right? You get yourself a good lawyer, a really good lawyer. Write a contract, put everything in triplicate because it's a lot. But what it does, it covers your ass, it covers their ass, and if something happens, and especially with that promoter, you can sue their ass. So, but like I said, support women's bodybuilding. Support these ladies who put in as much time and work as the men. They need just as much recognition. If you are a fan of these ladies out there and you want to sponsor a competitor, be genuine about these sponsors. No D pics, you sick freaks. Don't do that shit. Don't do that. They don't like that. These ladies, they are women. They have husbands. They have wives. They have kids. They don't want to see your tattywhacker on their phone. Be somebody. Reach out, James. These ladies. You can call. You can reach out to IG. I'm even doing this now. I'm doing emails too. I reach out to emails. I'm getting some response here and there. Reach out to them. You're gonna take a while because sometimes ladies are kind of apprehensive because they get weird stuff from weird people and they're kind of cautious. They don't want to get in a situation where you get some weirdo. But if you're a genuine person who wants to sponsor women's bodybuilding, maybe even if you have deeper pockets, in which, hey, I want to start a show. Talk to some promoters, see if they want to take part in that. I said again, make sure you have a contract set up. So if something happens to you and some where in which it might be an issue, you're protected. Everything you got to do nowadays with money, make sure you have a contract. Make sure you have a damn good lawyer too. Anyway, thank you for coming through. This is Muscle Talk episode 118. Wow, folks! I mean, it's a new week. I mean, it's the second week of the new year. Folks, it's gonna be it's gonna be a good while before it's gonna be a good struggle. We're trying to find something to talk about. But like I said, hey, if you feel like you have something you want to mention, go to my YouTube channel. You can click the link to my Instagram. DM me. Tell me what you want to see, what you want us to talk about. Like I said again, you want to talk about a competitor? Good. You want to talk about show? Good. You want to talk about a little history of bodybuilding? That's also good. Anything what gives women bodybuilding attention and a platform, I'm here for that. So anyway, shout out to everybody who watches video. Like, subscribe, share, or like I said again, don't like, don't shout, don't comment. Like how I said, don't like, don't like, comment, don't like, so whatever. I'm out. Have a good rest of your evening and Happy New Year.